at least I am. I'm like, does my therapist like me? I wonder what they
Right.
wonder what they really think about me. They have to give me all this objective information and perspective, but I wonder what they really think about me.
Oh.
Do you ever have that?
Well,
do you ever have that?
Yes, I do. I love my therapist. So, yes, I love my therapist. The treatment program that I'm in now, of course. I love my therapist at the other facility that I was at first. And, of course, I love my therapist that I'm at now. But, yes, I do be wondering sometimes, like, wait, I wonder if they like me, or I wonder if I'm being too negative. Or, I do always be asking myself, like, hey, I wonder if I'm supposed to come in joyful. And then sometimes when you go and speak to your therapist, it's like, are they tired of me bringing bad news?
Oh,
you think about that. And sometimes you be like,
Sure.
I want to like bring something good, but I don't feel good today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, dang, I told my therapist too, like, I'm so sorry. I just keep bringing bad news to you. It's like, I'm draining you. We do actually be thinking like we draining you all out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dang, I know I don't want them to have to go home because if they listening to me, then you all have to listen to someone else, then someone else. And it's like, I be always thinking like, am I draining them out? Really? I be wondering. So I'm glad to know that too, that you all be thinking the same thing, probably going through you all say it. That is really good.
Well,
That's when you know it's a genuine therapist though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I pride myself on, and that's why I'm really glad that I do get so much good positive feedback from my clients because, I'm someone who struggled with a lot of imposter syndrome, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically thinking that you are this big fraud. Like, you're being told that, oh, you're doing such a good job, you're great at that, and you're like, what? Like, do they even really know? Like, I'm just getting away with all this, like, what? Like, I'm not that good. I've passed that, thankfully, just because after you hear it so many times, it's like, okay, maybe they're being truthful with me. Maybe they're being right. Like, and I see it in my clients. I hear it from their families, and I'm still at awe that I am a good therapist.
Yes, you are.
And I'll own that. Like, it's,
yes.
I'm very big on not having an ego, but I'm confident in that now. And,
awesome.
I'm very glad that I can help people. Like, that's just such a big joy to me. It's just an honor that these clients feel safe with me and can tell me things they've never told anyone. I'm perplexed, like, me? Okay, well, good. Like, if I can help you, I'm going to help you.
Right.
So it's an honor, and I'm so glad that I fell into this role and into this program, because it's a great program, and we've got all good clinicians, so I'm super proud of that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good team.
And I'm so glad I had a chance to meet you, of course. I have another question, of course, I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
So, for me, when I go see my therapist, I get comfortable. I take off everything that I can. Take off.
I heard you say that in another podcast. Lay down, shoes off.
Yes, I take my shoes off. I'm going to take my hat off. I'll take my glasses off. I'm taking everything off. I'm laying it down on the couch. I'm grabbing a pillow. I get very comfortable.
Good.
Because it gives you that opportunity to like really get raw, and especially you have to be comfortable. I feel like you have to be comfortable when you're talking to your therapist. Do you do the same thing when you speak with your therapist?
So my therapist has all been virtual, so luckily I've been able to be comfortable in my house.
Okay.
In person, no, that's not really how I would do it, but I don't think I don't think it's wrong that you do that at all.
Right.
At all. And if clients want to come do that in my office, like lay down if they can, or pick their legs up and, sit crisscross applesauce, whatever it is. But as long as they're being appropriate and they're dressed appropriately enough, I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me at all. As long as they're still engaged, they're listening, they're getting something out of it. Sure. I mean, there's no wrong or right way. You can sit there in your professional clothes with your hands on your lap if that's what makes you comfortable, and you're still feeling like you're getting something out of it. But it's totally fine. Not my style.
Okay.
But awesome. I'm going to be comfortable.
Right. Okay. That's good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, did you have any questions for me from the client side?
Oh, from the client side. Yeah. So, good question. It's I probably have a bunch, and it's just I'm nervous and excited about this opportunity to be here. What do you think is the most, or what's the best thing that you heard from one of your therapists? What's something that you've really like held on to throughout any of your time working with therapists and whatnot? What's helped you the most?
It's okay to not be okay. That one has stuck with me. I take it everywhere. It's on a lot of my captions for everything I probably post.
Okay.
It's okay to not be okay. I most definitely stick to that one because it's a habit of, I don't know why, but when someone asks you, how are you doing? It's just a habit to say, oh, I'm okay.
Yes.
When you know you're really not okay.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the great part, actually, that I love about my case manager and therapist at the facility is it's crazy how they know when I'm telling the story. They be like, you're not okay. And I'll be like, dang, how do you know? But because I've been able to put on that face for so long. So it's great to know that they really do pay attention and care about you. So, yes, it's okay to not be okay is one that most definitely stuck with me. And
what did you think when you first heard that? Like, did it make sense?
It didn't make sense at first.
Yeah, because I feel like it's confusing. What does that mean? It's okay to not be okay.
Right.
So what does that even mean?
I'm
to
like,
you?
And that's what I thought about too. I was like, when I first heard it, I'm like, wait, what? How is it okay to not be okay? Why would you tell somebody that? You know, I'm like, it's not okay. So, and after, of course, going through treatment, because of course, this is not my first time being in a treatment center. I have been to multiple ones, but this is the best one, and I feel like this is going to be the last one that I have to attend. The it's okay to not be okay to me just lets me know that it's okay for me to be honest with myself. It's okay for me to be honest with others when I'm not okay. You know, I don't have to pretend like I'm okay when I'm not okay. And if I'm not okay, I should be okay with not being okay. It's not a bad thing. So,
yeah, I love that. I love that. And I'm glad you said that other part too about how, you know, when we say, oh, like, hey, how are you? We don't even really be honest about that ever. And we're like, and sometimes I don't think that person even really cares.
Nope.
So that's why we do that. It's like once we start being honest and, you know, talking about like, well, actually today's a really rough day for me. I'm so anxious and this just happened. It's like, whoa. Like this wasn't a conversation.
Yes.
This was just an acknowledgement of that I see you here.
Right.
So I think that's why like society, we just do that automatically. I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good. And then we have to be good all the time, right? Because uncomfortable, when we say we're sad or uncomfortable, makes other people uncomfortable.
It does, yes.
So it's like a weird thing about my work as a therapist is I teach and all these skills, all these tools, all these ways of thinking, and then clients have to go back out to the real world where other people have never heard that. They don't know what boundaries are. All of a sudden you're saying no, and they're like, what do you mean? And they get all defensive, and it's like, it's not even about you. Like,
right.
I'm just trying to protect my peace here. But that's such a challenge, I think. I don't know. Like, I don't know if you can speak to that at all about how you learn all these things, you try to take it with you, but like there's all these other people who don't know. And so it's like, how do I keep up with this good stuff that I learned? But life isn't really like that sometimes.
Right. It's a challenge, and it's good that you said that too, because a lot of us be afraid to go back out into the real world. And a lot of people don't know this. We spend so much time in treatment centers because a lot of us be actually afraid to go back into the real world. And the reason for that is because we know that a lot of people do not understand. They do not understand how mental health works or substance abuse as well. They do not understand how it works. So it's almost like when you're going through something and you're talking to someone on the outside world, they're looking at you like you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about, huh? And you try to set boundaries. Of course, you try to be selfish. That's something else I learned too, that it's okay to be selfish at times, and that's a good thing because that way you're able to self-care, take care of yourself as well. But a lot of times that is the case. Like, you just be afraid to go out there in society because you know that the people out there is not going to understand where you're coming from, or don't really understand that much about anxiety, or
yes,
a lot of them are afraid to admit depression, because a lot of times we'll hear just take it to church, or just go do this, or you should just do this. But
I have clients come in all the time who say, I went to my friends, I went to my family, they made me feel worse.
All the time.
And I have to tell them, like, yeah, you're going to the wrong people. They don't know how to handle that stuff. It's just like going to them and saying, I have cancer, give me treatment.
Right. Yes.
Unless they're an oncologist, I doubt that they're going to be able to help you.
Right.
So, yeah, that's one reason why it's really important to have a therapist if you are going through stuff, if you are struggling emotionally, mentally, if you're going through something physically that's affecting your emotions too, or just, anything. It's okay to even bring, little things and we always compare. Pain is pain.
That's correct.
It does not matter how big or small your trauma was. If it was big for you, it was big for you. Yes. And I'm also that type of therapist who's going to acknowledge that, who's not going to say, oh, just because you lost your pet, it doesn't compare to someone who was abused as a child. And it's like, that doesn't even matter. You live totally different lives, have totally different experiences, have totally different ways to handle things in regards to your emotions, in regards to your resiliency. I could go through one thing, Joey, you could go through the exact same thing, or even I could go through one thing, my sister could go through the exact same thing, and we grew up together with the same parents, same upbringing, and experienced it totally different ways. Yep. So pain is pain, and don't minimize your pain and suffering just because you think, like, well, other people have it worse. I mean, that can be a good way to kind of get through it too at times, but it doesn't mean you should just not acknowledge that you went through something hard, or you are going through something hard, because, we all have different experiences. So
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Thank you so much for that. Because a lot of people does not know, of course. And see, now you see the good reason you should get your therapist. See, you get that kind of good advice, Now you can actually see. For those of you that do not have a therapist, you see that kind of advice I get? And I get that every day. So hi, you should feel jealous for me. But thank you so much. I cannot, tell you enough how honored I am to have you here. This means the world to me. Before you came, I was all nervous, trying to get everything together. Let me make sure. Let me see what they like. Let me see what she want this. I was trying to get everything together to make sure it was perfect. Because, yes, this
life's not
means
perfect,
a lot to
Joey.
me.
It's okay.
It's
okay. And I love that Joey's just like, nope, this is just off the cuff. We don't have a plan. If you want to come with questions, you can, but I just go from the heart. So this is very true. Everyone who's listening, this is literally raw. We did not plan anything. Neither of us had questions prepared. Nope. So that's why you might hear me say a lot of ums or pauses, but
and it's okay. It's okay.
But I love that about this.
Yep, because I was telling people a lot of times, like, that's actually how we talk in real life. And that's how we talk to our friends or our family members. Of course, we say sometimes when we're talking to them, and that's why I like it that way, because it's natural. Like, if you take time, you try to not say it's like, okay, you're doing too much thinking, just be natural, because at that point you're not being as natural and genuine. So I love the ums. You'll hear me say it a lot. So it's fine with me. And we love it here on Sincere Emotions Podcast as well. Now, before we end out the finale, was there any other questions you had for me?
Well, I mean, client side of things, your experience with our program, and you've been through multiple different parts of it. What are your thoughts? True thoughts about this program? I know you say it's one of the best. I'm really glad to hear that, but maybe why is it the best compared to other times, or what's different about this